I can guarantee that you played with at least one of these teams I'm going to talk about today in NCAA 14. And if you didn't, you're either lying or you're a complete psychopath, but that's okay. I welcome all types of fans on this channel. With EA Sports College Football 25 just around the corner, I thought it would be a great idea to go back a decade, look at the top 10 best teams in NCAA 14 and see where they are today. This is my third video on the NCAA 14. Where are they now? I did the top 10 players. I did the top 10 worst teams. So go make sure to check those out. Link in the description. Smash that like button if you guys are excited for College Football 25. If you don't know who I am, I'm Saturday Shenanigans and I post 3 college football videos every single week to keep you guys entertained all off season. Feel free to subscribe and join the best family in college football. This is the fastest growing college football page on YouTube. Jump on the bandwagon now before it's too late. According to the ratings, the 10th best team in NCAA 14 was the Georgia Bulldogs. Oh my gosh, if people only knew how much of a monster they would have turned into in the next 10 years, they would not have rated them this low. Georgia at the time, they were 12-2 in the 2012 season. Of course, they had Aaron Murray, one of the highest rated players in the game. I talked about him on my previous video, link in the description, but they only went 8-5 in 2013, pretty disappointing. Then back-to-back 10-3 years in 2014 and 15, and once they got Kirby Smart in 2016 onwards, the rest was history. 29 straight wins, back-to-back national titles in 2021 and 2022. There was no doubt in my mind that Georgia will be the highest rated team in NCAA 25. What a turnaround from number 10 to number 1 about 10 years later. If they are not number 1 highest rated team in 25, I am seriously going to end my YouTube channel. Coming in at number 9, we have the Florida State Seminoles with the 91 overall, and this was absolutely disrespectful. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what? The 9th best rated team in the game in NCAA 14? How is this disrespectful? In 2012, they went 12-2. That's a great season. They won the Orange Bowl. Then they came out in 2013. Iconic season, the last season of the BCS. Jameis Winston, a freshman, won Heisman. He led them all the way to the national championship. Coach Jimbo Fisher, this was the peak of Florida State football. They have never been able to reach heights like this. Within 4 years, Jimbo Fisher is out. They have Willie Taggart come in, a couple bad seasons. Mike Norvell is the next man up in 2020. He's building the program in the right way. We know what happened in 2023. They were so close, some controversy not making the playoff. There is a lot of turnover happening for the 2024 Florida State Seminoles, so I'm curious on where NCAA 25 is going to put them in the ratings. I would guess around a 90 as well, probably anywhere between the 10 and 12 range. Number 8 is unfathomable, one of the greatest mysteries that we've seen in college football or video game history. It's the Virginia Tech Hokies, who went 7-6 in 2012. Yes, this was the year before the game was released, so you'd think, okay, maybe they're expected to be very good in 2013. No, they weren't even ranked in the preseason top 25. However, they were rated a 93 overall. Yes, the 8th best team in the game, and they went a measly 8-5 on that season. Now, 8-5 is not bad, but is that better than a Georgia team? Is that better than a Florida State team that won the championship? No, absolutely not. So where has the program gone since then? And I'm going to answer it very politely. Nowhere. Yes, since the release of NCAA 14, the Virginia Tech Hokies have only had one 10-win or more season. One! They are an irrelevant program. Everyone says, oh, they're the sleeping giant. No, they're just an irrelevant program, guys. But if you're a Hokie fan, you're going to say, well, we had back-to-back 10 and 9 win seasons in 16 and 17. You have never won the ACC. You have never even won your division in the ACC since that game has came out. NCAA 14 has officially, or had officially, cursed Virginia Tech football. Maybe NCAA 25 will change the writing on the wall. Number 7, the Texas Longhorns at a 93 overall. Now, if you read the first page and the last page of the book, there's really not going to be much change because Texas was a good team in the game of NCAA 14, and they're going to be great in NCAA 25. However, we know those years in between were an absolute disaster. Charlie Strong went 6-7, 5-7, 5-7. The Tom Herman era also failed with Sam Ehlinger. We're back. They were never able to get past a Sugar Bowl win, but finally with Steve Sarkisian in 2023, they made the college football playoff. Their transfer portal, their NIL is looking absolutely insane going into 2024. They have Quinn Ewers returning. They have a lot of weapons all over. Great offensive and defensive lines. Texas will be a top 5 overall team in NCAA 25. However, the road from 14 to 25 was not easy, as we all know. Just to plug myself again, I made a full video about the Texas We're Back era. I'm going to link it in the description because pretty much no one saw it. Number 6, Notre Dame at a 93 overall. This was after the season where they got smashed by Alabama in the national championship. But I'm going to ask you guys this. If they made an NCAA football game every single season after 2012, would Notre Dame be rated lower than a 90 in any of them? Probably not, because Notre Dame is a standard 10-win team. They did have one off season in 2016, but they're always a great program. Maybe not elite. They want to think that they're elite, but this is not surprising at all. In NCAA 25, they're in a pretty good spot. I mean, they went 10-3 with Marcus Freeman last season. They were close to being better than that. They're bringing in Riley Leonard. They're supposed to be a perennial top 10 program, so I do not see them being anything lower than a 90 in NCAA 25. If they are, I would just be surprised, and I know NCAA developers would not want to do that because the Notre Dame fan base is very scary. They're very vocal. You don't want to make them mad. Number 5, the LSU Tigers, and this was vintage Les Miles era. In 2012, they went 9-3. Going into 2013, they were expected to win their division, possibly win the SEC. It didn't happen. They were 9-3 again, but we know this program to be a pretty much 8 to 10 win team every single year. They did switch coaching in 2017 to Ed Orgeron, and oh my, just imagine 2019 LSU in NCAA 20. Oh, that would have been ridiculous. That team was legendary. So far, 2 years into the Brian Kelly era, LSU is struggling with getting over the hump in the SEC, and I don't think they're going to do so in 2024. It's just too loaded. I can think of 3 teams in that conference who are going to be rated higher than them. There is no way that LSU is going to be rated top 5 in NCAA 25. They're just not there yet. Maybe in 2025, they have an insane recruiting class coming in, the top wide receiver, quarterback, running back. Maybe when they get those guys developed, I could see them, but the SEC right now is just too loaded. I would say LSU's rated somewhere between a 10 and a 15 in NCAA 25. Their offense will be very fun to play with, I'll admit that though. Number 4, it's the Clemson Tigers. Now this is very similar to Georgia at the beginning of the video. At the time of NCAA 14 release, this team hadn't gone on their huge run yet. They weren't at the pinnacle or the peak of their program going to national championships. However, they were very solid, very good. They went 11-2 in 2012, and they followed that up with another 11-2 season in 2013. Then from 2015 to 2020, we just have to appreciate it. That was pure excellence. Dabo Swinney and all the players to come through there. Clemson football was a thing to watch. Now, they're not headed in the right direction. They are actually on a decline. A lot of people are worried about it. They're worried about Dabo Swinney, about how he doesn't want to commit to NIL. He's too committed to the old school mentality of developing players. Will he be able to sustain success going into the future? That is a very big question, and I think Clemson, it's a pivotal year in 2024. I don't think they'll be rated as high in NCAA 25. Again, they'll probably be somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. The saving grace is that they're playing in the ACC. That is a wide open conference, and I would not be surprised if they found their way in the college football playoff in 2024. Coming in at number 3, the Oregon Ducks at a 95 overall rating, and boy, these teams were fun to play with. This was the DeAnthony Thomas days. This was the fast offense, the high-octane Ducks. They went 12-1 in 2012. They won the Fiesta Bowl. We all remember that. They beat Kansas State. Going into 2013, they went 11-2, another W in the Alamo Bowl, and of course, in 2014, they made it all the way to the national championship, lost to Ohio State, but after that, they went through some tough times. The Mark Helfrich era didn't end well with the 4-8 season. Then they switched over to Willie Taggart. He went 7-6 and said, goodbye, I'm going to go to Florida State. I absolutely trolled you guys. Mario Cristobal was solid. They weren't able to get to the next level and reach the college football playoff, unfortunately, but they did get a Rose Bowl win, and then they got saved. They got saved by Dan Lanning, who was building something incredible. 2024 could be the second coming of another prime Ducks era. Their only 2 losses in 2023 was against their arch rival, the Washington Huskies, who ended up being the college football playoff runner-up. They're headed into the Big Ten with a lot of momentum. They're replacing Bo Nix with Dylan Gabriel. They got Evan Stewart. They got weapons in the backfield. Everything that you need, Oregon has it. And it's looking right now that they will be a top 5 rated program in NCAA 25. Number 2, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm going to spoil it for you guys. I think they also will be the second highest rated team in NCAA 25, so no change for a decade. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, there were a lot of ebbs and flows. In 2012, they went 12-0. However, they were ineligible for postseason play. Then they followed that up with 12-2 in 2013. Yes, this was Urban Meyer. These were Urban Meyer teams. They beat Oregon in the 2014 national championship. And then once Urban Meyer left, it was Ryan Day time. Yes, Ryan Day has a lot of slack because he hasn't been able to win the national championship. In 2020, they made it there. They couldn't get the job done. Coach Day has also not been very successful against his rival, Michigan. I don't want to rub that in your face, Ohio State fans. You guys are looking in great position for 2024. Insane recruiting and transfer portal haul, plus Michigan losing a lot. I think Ohio State's going to be in prime position with Oregon to win the Big Ten at number 1. The best team in NCAA 14 with the 99 overall rating. You do not want to face this team. With no surprise, it's Alabama. Oh my, those early 2010s Alabama teams were just different. I mentioned how they won that 2012 national championship versus Notre Dame. They smashed them 42-14. Then they came out the next season. They went 11-2, and then boom, that huge run that they went on with Nick Saban, one of the GOATs. However, there is a topic of discussion on where they're going to be rated in the 2024 season with Nick Saban retiring. Yes, they have Jalen Milroe returning, who had experience last year at a high level in the college football playoff. He will be a Heisman contender, but they did lose a lot in the portal. It's going to be a transitioning year for Alabama, and a lot of preseason top 10s way too early, according to ESPN 24/7 Sports. They are number 10. So there is no way that this team will be rated in the top 5, at least skill-wise, overall ratings-wise, by NCAA 25. But if Kalen DeBoer does the impossible and they win the SEC, they go to the college football playoff, I am going to be shocked because I truly think it's Georgia, it's Ole Miss, it's Mizzou in the SEC. I do not think Alabama is going to hang with them this year. So I think they're going to be rated a little lower in NCAA 25. Thank you guys so much for reaching the end of the video. Go comment below what you want to see next. I've been Saturday Shenanigans, your home for unfiltered college football content, and I'll see you guys soon.